All right, Jazzy, you ready? Jazzy Jeff, show me what's up.
Extra stretching. My hips are all jacked up. 40 minutes of
Give me like a
cardio today. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 3 of Becoming a Mother Runner. In this series, I'm taking you along on my journey as I become a mom. I am 22 weeks pregnant, so more than halfway there, which is fantastic. I'm still feeling good, still running, which is great. I wasn't sure I'd have a ton of updates to share, but I do. So the first thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about was my ReCore Fitness FitSpling maternity belt that I have been using while running. This is it. It's been fantastic. It has been helping me feel more comfortable while I've been running. I feel like the baby is right on my bladder, so as soon as I start running, almost a mile in, I have to go to the bathroom, and this has helped relieve a lot of that pressure. So I wanted to cut to a clip and show you guys how I'm wearing it. The belt is pretty thick, which is great because it really does offer a lot of stability and support because it is so thick. It definitely makes you run a little hot, but you really do need the stability, so I don't mind it that much. It does have these nice silicone bands around it, which helps it stick to your body and stay stable. I have been wearing it underneath my belly, so I'm putting both straps underneath, kind of basketing the baby, which is relieving that pressure on my bladder. And one of the ways that you can wear it later on in pregnancy as your belly gets bigger is you can put one of the straps underneath and one of the straps over your belly, which provides a little bit more motion control. So I haven't been doing this because my belly is not big enough and I'm getting more relief from the support underneath. But hopefully later on in pregnancy, if I'm still running at that point, I can update you guys on how well that is working. But it has a lot of versatility, which I think is what makes it such a great product. I'm interested to hear from other moms who have maybe used this belt. If you have some experience with it, some feedback on later in pregnancy, make sure you leave that in the comments. We also had our 20-week anatomy scan a couple weeks ago, and this feels like the last really stressful thing of the first half of pregnancy that you have to get through. You do so much testing, there's so many scans and all that stuff early on in pregnancy. And this is kind of the last big one where it really confirms the baby's okay, things are gonna be okay, you've made it through this much, you can get through the next half. Our baby was measuring 10 days ahead. I was so happy to hear this because I thought maybe this would mean that my due date could be updated. Saw my OB last week and she told me they usually measure about 2 weeks off, so it's a lot harder to tell this early on. Kind of a bummer, but that also means that my baby might not be that huge, which is a plus. I felt so much relief after this, and I wasn't really, I think, aware of how much anxiety I was holding on to until we got through that appointment. And it was pretty interesting because a couple days later, I was reading in one of my pregnancy apps about prenatal depression and anxiety. I think we do a much better job now of talking about postpartum depression and anxiety, but prenatal depression and anxiety was something I'd never heard of. And it's really actually hard to recognize because a lot of the symptoms that you might experience are symptoms that are common to pregnancy. Changes in your appetite, changes in your mood, changes in your sleep patterns, higher increased levels of anxiety or feelings of inadequacy. And I had never experienced some anxiety so paralyzing. I've experienced anxiety around races or around work projects or stress or pressure, but nothing like this. I felt so much guilt over my responsibility in carrying this child that I think men maybe don't experience until the baby is born. I felt really guilty early on because I didn't take my prenatals until I was about 3 or 4 weeks along. I didn't know I was pregnant at the time. And knowing that the baby is developing so much in those first 4 weeks and knowing I wasn't giving him the right nutrients that he might have needed just made those tests and the amniocentesis that we did, the scans, everything a lot more pressurized. So I've been feeling much better since we got through that 20-week scan, but I definitely cried in a couple of my OB appointments, which were also made more stressful without my husband there, which I think has made this pandemic kind of adding to some of those experiences with prenatal depression and anxiety that might be more amplified because we don't have that community support that we normally would during a pregnancy. She definitely recommended working with a therapist who maybe specializes in maternal health. I think that's a good idea to even set that up during pregnancy so that you have access to that person after in case you do experience postpartum depression and anxiety. Just want to say for other moms, if you've been experiencing that, talk to your OB, see if that's a resource available to you. So running has still been very challenging for me. I'm only running about 3 to 4 miles at a time, even though the ReCore Fitness maternity belt has helped make it more comfortable, I'm still not enjoying it as much as I wanted to. I really thought going into this that I've been running for the last 12 years pretty consistently. The last 4 or 5 years I've been running at a higher level. 50 to 70 miles a week feels great. So during pregnancy, 30 to 40 miles a week will probably be fine. I'm running about 9 to 12 miles a week now, averaging 3 to 4 miles per run. And it's been sad. Like I'm really sad to see the decline in my fitness. It's really hard to keep reminding myself that this is only temporary. It will come back later. But one thing that I have changed is I've really been focusing more on strength work. Endurance and strength, I think, are super important to the delivery and recovery process from pregnancy. And I've been just trying to, if I feel like I can't run for as far, I've been trying to focus more on the strength stuff. Using that Expecting an Empowered guide has been really helpful. Doing more stretching, that has also been really helpful. I feel like my body is very creaky, a lot more creaky than it was before, running 60 to 70 miles a week, which is crazy. But just trying to keep things positive so that I don't feel so discouraged by my lack of, or comparing myself to what I was doing before pregnancy or what I thought I would be doing. And it's been interesting to see different perspectives. There's a lot of women who have reached out to me saying that the same thing has happened to them during pregnancy. They thought they'd be running a ton, and they're not. And then there's other women who can run through their entire pregnancy, which is great. So it really just highlights the fact that each pregnancy is so different, and there's not really a lot you can do to anticipate what it's going to be like for you. It's been probably the time in my life where I've had to be the most flexible with everything that I've been doing, and just continuing to remind myself that if I feel good, my baby feels good, and that's the most important thing. So I would love to hear from any other mother runners out there how your pregnancy experience was with fitness. That's always helpful to just have that encouragement and see what other women have experienced. So make sure you leave some comments with that. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for future videos. Thanks for hanging out.